Hey everybody! I decided to step away from doing a typical adventure video and make a video about installing a Rockshox Reverb seat post. My day job is professional bike mechanic, 35 plus years experience, and I've installed hundreds of these posts. And I put one on my own bike 2 years ago and I've never had any issues with it. So hopefully this is helpful. I kind of checked out YouTube for a video similar to this and I couldn't really find anything very good. So that's kind of what got me interested in doing this. Thanks for watching and I hope it helps. Okay, so the tools you're going to need will be a Rockshox Reverb bleed kit. It has, as you can see, two different ends, one for the lever, one for the post. Torx T10 screwdriver or wrench, a Torx T25. This one's a P handle, but either one will work. A big old crescent wrench, two different three-way Allen wrenches. One is a 2, 2.5, and 3. One is a 4, 5, and 6. And a 13 and a 15 box end wrench. I think it's pretty important to also have a hydraulic line cutter like this Jaguar. Okay, so what I'm doing here is holding the hydraulic line really tight and unscrewing the post from it. The barb fitting is a threaded piece and it threads onto that plastic hydraulic line. Now this is important to clip about a 1/4 inch off of that line so you have something fresh to thread that barb fitting into when you're getting ready to install the post after you put the line in the frame. Now I'm installing the line into the frame. On this bike it's super easy because it's all internally routed. It just pops right out. As you can see there. Easy. Okay, so now I have the 13 and 15 box end wrenches. I hold that lower piece with the 15 and then unscrew the top piece with the 13 to get that barb fitting out. And once I get that out, I can thread it into the hydraulic line. Make sure to put a rag in the frame so you don't drop the pieces that piece there, that top piece, and you don't want to drop that in the frame. It makes it a pain. But anyway, I'm threading the barb fitting in with that Torx T10, and you want to turn it all the way until it's tight, but don't turn it too far because you can strip it. Okay, so now I'm threading that top piece in to that to the post, and I'm going to get that 15 and that 13 again and make sure it's snug, but don't crank it because it's aluminum and you could strip it. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to bleed the post at the first fitting here, which is, there's a Torx T10 that unscrews it, as you can see here. Get that out. All right, there it is. A little teeny bolt, don't drop it. Okay, and here's the threaded fitting from the bleed kit. Got a syringe full of fluid. Scoot it in there, don't crank it because you'll smash that O-ring and it might leak. What I'm doing now is cycling. I'll press the lever, cycle it, look for bubbles, and just keep pressing it until I don't see any more bubbles. And now I'm just going to go ahead and unscrew it. And so far so good. Get that Torx T10 again. Put the tiny little bolt in there, tighten it down. Don't strip it, it's really weak, but make it firm. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pull the line while I'm pushing the post down. And I set this at a kind of a high height because it's easier to cut it later than to try to make it grow, because you can't make it grow, you have to replace it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and torque this down, and these posts don't need to be super tight. Maybe 5 Newton meters is good. Sometimes people over tighten them and then their posts stick, so they don't work very good if you crank down your seat post clamp. Now I'm going to do a quick tightening of the post, get the saddle level. It's up to customer's preference, but I just do it level to start with. Okay, so now I'm going to figure out how long I need to make the line to fit this setup. Kind of figure out where it will go so it won't be too short or too long. This might be a little long for customers. They can always, like I said, it's better to have it a little too long and cut it than not have it long enough and be stuck with a short dropper post hydraulic line. This is where that cutter comes in really handy. It makes a perfect clean cut. And you need that when you're dealing with this stuff, because if you do like side cutters, you'll just deform the line and that could cause leaks later. Not to mention trouble threading it back into the lever while you're working. And I'm unscrewing the lever from the leftover line. It's the same deal. It's got a little T10 barb fitting. And throw away that excess line. And there it is. Make sure to take off that end cap. Later on I'll slide it onto the hydraulic line. Oh, yeah, like right there. Now I'll get that big old crescent wrench and hold that lever, and then take the 13 box end and unscrew the top piece to get that barb fitting out. And I filmed this with my iPad, so it's a little bit awkward and out of frame, but it was like a spur of the moment deal. So here's the T10 again, and I'm going to go ahead and screw that, or put that 13 down the line, and then screw that T10 in, barb fitting. And now I'm going to go ahead and thread that 13 onto the lever. And once I get it on there, I'll snug it up with a box end wrench. Okay, I've got the three-way with the 3mm, and I'm going to go ahead and loosen that bleed port screw because it's super tight, and the end of the syringe has that 3mm, but it's super soft metal, and you'll strip it if you try to loosen it with that. So now I'm going to go ahead and put that on there and do the same thing I did with the other port. Just kind of cycle it and keep looking for bubbles. Push fluid in with the syringe. Sorry, this is out of frame. I was having issues with my setup. Didn't have anything going. I didn't have my tripod or anything. But working with it, just getting those bubbles out. And I do a little final back pressure deal and then tighten it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take my lever and mount it to the perch using that Torx T25. I try to set these in a fairly neutral position for the customer. Everyone has their preferences, so they want to adjust it later when they get it. Okay, last thing I want to do here is take that 13 and loosen it just a little to get that line twist out of there, because sometimes it gets bound up and twisted. So I'll loosen it, it'll get some slack in it, and then I'll tighten it, and then I'll go ahead and put that dust cover on. And testing, boom, money. Every bike I ship with a reverb comes with this little note to give you little tips on making your reverb last forever. It's worked for me for 2 years. I've never had any issues, and I hope this helps people. Makes a difference. Thanks for watching.